Welcome back to Fix It or Ignore It here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. This week, I want to talk about what type of car is your retirement savings. As you know, if you've watched any show with us, I often talk about vehicles. I love and am passionate about all different kinds of vehicles, all the way from classics to exotics to race cars, and everything in between I find fascinating when it comes to that. So when I think about this, I often kind of relate these two worlds together. I'm passionate about finances and I'm interested with vehicles. What are the similarities to that? So I thought, what type of car or vehicle is your savings line up to? So think of this. Let's talk about a race car. What are they? They're specifically built for a purpose. They're often fast, dangerous. They require lots of maintenance. It's often a professional like pit crew or crew to keep them going, right? Limited options because they're built for a very specific reason, and they typically don't perform in all conditions. Think of a drag racing car or NASCAR, stuff like that. They're typically fair weather, don't go out in the snow or the rain, stuff like that, purpose built for specific reasons. So think investments now, something like that. So investment relationship, think high risk, something kind of like IPOs, cryptocurrencies, various things like that that are high risk, high reward sort of thing potential that require specialty knowledge to be able to invest in those. Sometimes often even like an accredited investor would even be required before they even purchase that. And again, having professionals that know all the ins and outs of all those things. So I liken those two things together with kind of that race car analogy when it comes to those investments. So now think about like classic cars. They're an all-around classic. They've been around for a while. They've been through the motions. They've changed a little bit over time, but they've been around. They're well recognized for the most part. Generally, lots of people see them. They know them. They have some sort of memory with them. They may not be best suited for all conditions. So think of a classic car today. Would you want to take your pristine 1957 Chevy out and drive it in the winter and with the salt on the roads? Probably not. Would it be good? Would it be able to get around? Sure, it's been around, but there's probably better options, right? And also think of that, their options are limited, right? So think of that classic car. Power windows didn't come out. Heck, even seatbelts weren't even an option for a lot of years on some vehicles when you go back far enough. So again, great vehicle, well recognized from that perspective. So investment relationship, what would be like that? Think of your, generally speaking, balanced allocation passive strategy, and often found in like 401ks and retirement plans, right? They're well recognized. You hear the word balanced oftentimes, and you hear the word passive where you put it in and you don't have a lot of options, kind of like that classic car. It's things that are there and they're in place. It might not be best suited for all conditions, but it's there and it kind of gets you through, right? So I liken those two together. So the final one here, I kind of think about the all-wheel drive luxury SUV. So is a third one. What is it? It's good in most weather. It can traverse many different terrains, right? So again, all-wheel drive can go up and down, seasonal roads and peaks and valleys and all that sort of stuff. It can haul passengers. It can haul cargo and loads. It's got lots of options, right? I mean, today's SUVs and luxury vehicles have so many different options that, you feel like you're in a spaceship sometimes with all the different things that they can have. And it just has different things you can do with all them. So from an investment perspective, what would that be? So think of like a well-diversified, purpose-built portfolio with many different options mixed into that are working towards one goal. So like the luxury SUV, all these different things are put in there to have kind of the creature comforts for that driver and passenger. Same thing with that balanced allocation, purpose-built portfolio. You have all these different pieces in there working towards that. So is there a right or wrong with all this? Not necessarily. There's certain vehicles for certain people, right? Same thing when it comes to investments. There's certain investments for certain people. There's not necessarily a right or wrong, but what is important is just like you maybe have had that. If you get in the wrong vehicle, you're going to be dissatisfied, right? You don't like the ride. You don't like the gas mileage. You don't like the performance. Something like that just doesn't suit you. You're going to have those same complaints if you get into a portfolio that's not suited for you. So again, making sure that those Portfolios of investment options aligned with your goals and objectives is going to be vitally important for that comfortable ride off to your retirement.